right. I won't be too long on this live stream. I did not plan on going live again tonight. Y'all know I usually don't go live twice in a day. And plus, I planned on going live tomorrow morning. So I'll keep this short. But I wanted to go ahead and deal with it on a video of its own. Sort of isolate the subject. Because, as you all know, I argue against a narrative, a belief that Nick Fuentes supports. Now, shout out to Sid on Twitter, who shared this with me. Again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I hope you do. Okay, he shared this with me. I just saw it. And for those of you who've sent tweets, bear with me. I'm still getting caught up. Now, I don't know. I did not watch this whole segment. This here is just a small clip. But I want you to hear this.
The dog thing is gross. I'm sorry. As much as I love dogs, I love my dogs.
Wait a minute. Let's stop. Listener discretion advised. There's profanity in this video. Again, this video contains profanity. If you allow kids to listen to my videos, you might want to cover their ears. All right, let's continue. Now, you heard what he said.
The dog thing is gross. I'm sorry. As much as I love dogs, I love my dogs, I had to get away from them. It's such a turnoff. When you go to somebody's house and you knock on the door and you hear dogs spazzing out, the homeowner opens the door and the dogs are jumping and they go, "Get down, get down." What do we live like animals? Get down. Albert, get down. And it's everything else. It's the dog hair everywhere. You can't even sit on the furniture without getting up and using a lint roller. Then there's the sleeping in the bed thing. I use the bathroom. I pee. And we all know, no matter how much you shake your penis after you pee, you're always going to get like a drop of piss on your underwear. Everybody knows that, right? So if a human being cannot clean their penis after they pee, you're now going to invite the dog into the bed. The dog's penis is covered in piss. The dog's anus is covered in shit. They piss and shit on the floor, and then they run on the floor. So it's got piss and shit and dirt on its feet. And then, after it's done running through its piss and shit, the dog licks its asshole. So you've got a giant, smelly, hairy, disgusting flea bag that is covered, quite literally, from mouth to toe in piss and shit. And you invite that into your bed? That's crazy.
Now, let's stop there. No, I have not talked to Nick Fuentes. Okay, for those who don't know, this is a self-proclaimed, bona fide white supremacist. Again, this is a just Google his name and look at his Wikipedia and double check the sources in Wikipedia. This is a white supremacist. Now think about that now. Let's unpack what he's... I have to unpack this. Now you see why I went live. I would not have been able to sleep until I talked about this. Shout out to everybody able to join me. Well, yeah, I had to unpack that. Now listen, a lot of people agree with me, and I agree with a lot of people on different things. If somebody out of the crowd says something that I agree with, I have no choice but to say, I agree. You can't control the other things that a person believes. You simply have to agree with them on a particular subject. I have no problem with that. Simply because I agree with him on, well, as far as dogs are concerned, does not mean I co-sign with any of his other rhetoric. I found myself in this position before where I am, but listen, this guy sounds like he binge watches dogsbite.org. No, excuse me. What am I talking about? This channel and Dog Free. Dogsbite.org, they don't get into this type of content, nor does Pitbull Victim Awareness. This is the grassroots narrative. Don't play Nick Fuentes. He's heard us. He's read your comments. He's heard these videos. That narrative is a little too familiar to me. Now understand, this is a new emerging narrative. Some of the people who agreed with Nick Fuentes may not even be aware. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Fuentes has a lot of people who agree with him. You can even see it here on this Twitter post. But many of these people who agree with him, they don't even know that we exist. At least I don't think. Many of them, they don't know we exist. We're undiscovered for a lot of people. The Slate, when they wrote the article about us, they talked about us the same way. Like, hey, this is a new group. They're just now emerging. Look out for them. And here's Nick Fuentes talking as if he's followed this channel ever since I started it. I listened to him and I thought I was listening to myself. So understand, you can agree with anybody on a subject. And to be honest, I don't care what else you believe. I only care whether or not you have an effect on my life. And if I know you don't have a love or obsession with dogs, if I know you're not a dog owner, I can't help but to admit that I'd rather have you as a neighbor than a nutter. I can't help but to admit that. That's just a fact. As long as you're not a dog lover, I'd rather you be my neighbor. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Right? Now let's back this up a little bit. I don't want to be too long here.
The dog thing is gross. I'm sorry. As much as I love dogs, I love my dogs, I had to get away from them.
Now wait, listen. I was disappointed, still disappointed with this. This is Nick Fuentes of all people. What I wanted to hear, I don't know when he did this broadcast. If you're going to talk about dogs and you're a white supremacist, and you know full well you've pushed this great replacement theory, you are a failure if you fail to mention how dogs play a role in the reduction of your population. That tells me you truly don't care about the reduction of your population. You can't. No, you feel too passionately about it. I mean, you'd mention the things that he mentioned, like, hey, they're nasty. Of course, you'd point that out. They're disgusting, covered in a lot more than urine and excrement. But you're going to also talk about how they play a role in the reduction of your population. So even though this is not a full-on attack on the dog culture, it's better than nothing. At least this might get people thinking. All you need is for people to get a foot in the door. And then the rest, I think, is easy. So we got them. Come on, man. Dogs play a role in the reduction of your population. Any group of people or a country full of people, if there's a significant dog owner population, dogs are going to contribute to the reduction of their population, because there are going to be a bunch of people who say, hey, rather than have a child, I'm going to have a dog. So where are your priorities here? Now, I get it. You heard what he said. The dog is covered in urine and feces. I always try to stress that as well. They roll around in it. They eat it, lick it. Okay, they're nasty. They don't wipe. They don't wash. They're covered in, it's not just excrement. It's dog excrement. The most toxic of all waste. That's why it's the number one contaminant of our water. It's not just urine that dogs are covered in. They're covered in dog urine, the most toxic urine on earth. The only urine that kills plant life. Dog urine. Now, the dog's covered in feces and urine. So you're going to get it all over your body. But guess what? The feces and urine is also on the dog's dander. And the dander is airborne. So you got urine and excrement all on your body and inside your body. You're inhaling it. Yes, this is not only disgusting, this is dangerous. This is a major health hazard. And it's common sense.
The homeowner.
It's common sense. Nobody should have to give you a lecture like this. Everybody should know this. And again, they should teach this in our schools. It's that dangerous. People need to know about it.
Jumping and they go, get down, get down. What do we live like animals? Get down, Albert, get down.
Yeah, that's what it boiled down to. When you knock on someone's door and you hear a bunch of dogs, it feels like you're at a doghouse. And I don't even think it feels like a real home anymore. You walk inside of a home like this, feel like you stepped into a zoo or a dog house. Okay, it's disgusting. Listen, I don't want to do this. This is not fun. I wish it was like the good old days when you could freely go to anyone's home. Okay? It felt good. It felt good to feel like there was no threat, there was no danger, there was no filth, excrement, urine, stench. But with age comes wisdom. And we need to act on it. That's just the way it is. We go in these people's houses. Do you know dogs are really more likely to attack you if you walk into the house, if you go into the house? Okay, that's when Jacqueline Duran was attacked. She was in somebody else's house. She was a dog sitter. Brooklyn Curry in somebody else's house. In fact, a dog, the second leading cause of dog bites in America is when people go over to someone else's home. The leading is the family dog. Dogs usually attack somebody that lives in the home with it. Leading cause. Second, going over somebody's home. So we should know better.
Down. What do we live like animals? Get down, Albert, get down. And it's everything else. It's the dog hair everywhere. You can't even sit on the furniture without getting up and using a lint roller. Then there's the sleeping in the bed thing.
And that hair, people, the dander is bad enough. But on top of the dander, contaminating the atmosphere, you got dog hair everywhere, which probably got a whole bunch of other stuff on it. Probably bugs, ticks, fleas, of course, bacteria, and all kinds of stuff.
I use the bathroom, I pee, and we all know, no matter how much you shake your...
Okay, we get it. This is the take of Nick. Now, hopefully, this resonates with his fan base. Okay? Hopefully, they get the message. I'm going to keep an eye on this video. And I'd like to find out when it was recorded. But I think people need to get used to this narrative. Hearing people say the types of things that he just said. The types of things that I say. Get used to it. You may as well try to come up with a rebuttal, which you won't. But you're going to have to come up with something, because you're going to get annihilated. And I mean that as far as a debate. You dog lovers, you cannot debate us. That's why I urge you, leave that lifestyle alone. Okay? This doesn't have to happen. You don't have to get embarrassed like this. Do you understand? There's no refuting anything that we say. It's just not even possible. If you could, I would have thought of it already and tried to debunk any possible rebuttal. So you're just going to stand there and get obliterated. Just run over. Right? I have no problem with that. No complaints here. But I have a complaint about how he made a strong and obvious effort to ignore the role of depopulation that is at the fault of these mutants. You know, it is almost exclusively, when you look at the facts. I shared information here before. This was conducted by the American Housing Association or something like that. It's like a governmental agency where they collect all this data from different households. They made the information public, not me. They broke it down by race in America, not me. I simply showed it to you, showed you the article. Now, why hasn't Nick Fuentes found, read, and understood that article and connected the dots? Some scary stuff in there. Okay? Now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, you can go to my channel and search for population or replacement. And the videos that I made on it will pop up. You'll be able to find the link to the article that I'm talking about. They did a survey on different homes in America to find out how many people, how many homes, households had kids, and how many of them didn't have kids. How many of them had dogs and didn't have dogs. Okay, and numbers don't lie. Now, without going over all of that again, I just want to point this out for Fuentes and anyone else who is a public speaker for white nationalists, white supremacists. You are going to fail yourself. You're going to fail your group, your people who side with you. You're going to fail them if you refuse to share that information with them. In fact, if you're aware of the facts and you understand how having a population of dog lovers can reduce your own population, and you refuse to talk about it, to point it out, then you're assisting in the depopulation of your group. There's no way around that. You're assisting it, which would also prove that you really don't care. You really don't care. Listen, I have to be honest. I have to be honest here. And, it feels weird to say something like this. It really does. But I would much rather live around white supremacists who hate dogs. Okay, not by myself. Okay, I'm not a fool. One black person in a whole community, and they're all flaming white supremacists. Oh no. But if I lived next door to someone with a bully breed and they let that thing out in their front yard all the time, off leash, which I see people doing that all the time, I have imagined, what if I have kids? I have to be on alert all the time. I'd feel like a terrorist victim living next door to people with bully breeds. And I would much rather live around people who would not own, not just bully breeds, any dog. Any dog. Even the small dogs. When it comes to what I like and don't like, I don't want none of them around me. They're all nasty. Okay, equally nasty and filthy and dangerous. Okay, but we cannot, I don't want to see this. I've been binge watching videos all day. I was watching a video earlier today. What should I do with that? Where they're talking about, where is this? Before I go here. Okay, and I can't find it. Okay. We save that for the next video. But there was this massive rally. It's like a rally or a march or something. And there was a whole lot of people there. And they were screaming at the top of their lungs, "Jews will not replace us." Now, listen, I don't know what they're talking about. Or you. They said Jews or yous will not replace us. But it was this narrative of the great replacement theory. My point is, this is a huge belief, a very popular belief, talking point, very popular narrative. And the frustrating thing is, it seems like a fraud. It makes the follower come off like a fraud. If I'm concerned about my group's population, I don't care what the cause is. I want to know it. I want to know everything that even could be a cause or could contribute to the depopulation of my group. I want to know about it. And if there's any merit, if it's credible, if it's proven, I'm going to talk about it. So when I see people who claim to be concerned about the depopulation of their group and obviously will just blatantly ignore the dog culture, that's fake. That's fake. So, listen, I'm not sending a message out to any criminals or anything like that. I'm talking to the law-abiding citizens who just happen to co-sign with this narrative. Look at the dogs. Listen, I'm a black American, and I have a problem with all these dogs in black American community. A major problem. Yeah. A major problem. a lot of large, vicious dogs in the hood. Okay? So eventually, I think more and more people, you're going to see more and more platforms, more and more videos are going to come out. They may say a lot of things that I say here, it just may be in their own way. Fine. That's exactly what I want to see. But this is the future. This is the future. Okay, I could not see my chat room. Maybe somebody knew exactly when he recorded this. I'd like to know. I don't know when he recorded this. But it was just posted by this user March 23rd. That's today. Okay? So, Nick, if you're out here stealing our content, it would be nice if you would indicate where you got this from. But not a problem. Right? And I don't have a problem sharing your video and talking about it. This is the future, people. We may as well get ready for it. Shout out to everybody able to join me. And I hope to see you tomorrow morning as we continue with this crusade.